What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update today, 2021, as well as the next two upcoming packages. The next physical infrastructure package, known as the American Jobs Plan, which will create millions of jobs and help us get out of this recession, and the next stimulus package, known as the American Families Plan, which is somewhat tied together. It's part one and part two, that they may pass in two different plans, or they may actually combine them and pass them together through the reconciliation process. Also, we cover what's going on in the world today with some trending news. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you updated on everything. And if you can, hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. Okay, first, a major congressional UFO report is expected possibly today. Yes, that's right. An unidentified flying object is actually a very big story in the United States right now, as the government has actually confirmed, the Pentagon has actually confirmed that there are UFO videos that are real, that the government does not know what they are. And in fact, there's daily sightings of these on the East Coast of the United States. As you can see here, top intelligence and military officials are scheduled to release a report this month addressing unidentified objects in American airspace. This report, commissioned by Congress, has garnered considerable attention as lawmakers and public speculate on what the report may reveal about unidentified flying objects. Former President Obama all but confirmed here within the last several days that UFOs do actually exist.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air. But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory.
Now the government is going to be releasing an official report, possibly as early as today, on these unidentified flying object sightings.
So the Pentagon is going to present Congress with an unclassified report on recent UFO sightings as early as today. Our next guest was on board the USS Princeton off the Southern California coast in 2004 when he witnessed this tic-tac-shaped object flying through the air. Sean Cahill joins us now. He's retired Navy Chief Master at Arms. Sean, great to have you with us today. What are your expectations for this report, and what do you hope it will do in terms of shedding more light on this issue that some people say in the military are seen actually quite often?
Well, I'm keeping my expectations low, but I'm ready to pivot based on the information we're given. I expect the UAPTF to get what they ask for from the government. The question is how much cooperation the various aspects within our government are going to give to the task force.
Okay, what did you see years ago?
Well, in 2004, when I was stationed on board the Princeton, I was up on the bridge while we were coordinating the efforts to try to find out whether or not these tracks on radar were real or not. Once we had determined that they were real objects, we sortied some F-18s out there. And the night before they sortied, I had seen 5 to 7 objects up in the sky at approximately 45 degrees off the port bow at about 2,000 feet. All of them moved together towards the center of a circle in a counterclockwise fashion, and they all disappeared or blinked out. This seemed to correspond with the movements of the things that we were seeing on the radar as well.
Wow, 17 years ago. What were you thinking at the moment?
I thought that what I was seeing was exotic. I had never seen anything move like that in the sky, whether a meteor, an aircraft, or anything in the spectrum. I didn't know what I had seen. Once we had finished that, I had gotten on with the exercise and moved on.
When you look at it, back at it now, knowing what you know, what do you think the source could potentially be of this? What makes the most sense to you?
Well, it's going to surprise some people, but what makes the most sense doesn't seem to be any of our adversaries or near-peer technology. In 2004, what we witnessed there showed us all of what Luis Elizondo calls the 5 observables, which definitely indicate an exotic technology.
So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think UFOs, or at least when we think of unidentified flying objects, do you think of technology out of this world exist in this world? Or do you think it could be drones or other countries. I mean, we have Russia literally hacking us here on the weekly as they just hacked a new meat company and the largest meat producer in the United States. We covered that in a previous video. So, do you think it's something out of this world, or do you think it's spies? Or let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Now, I get a lot of comments about why don't they just pass these packages already? And this will give you a glimpse into insight on why that is. President Biden's even a little frustrated too, as he calls out moderate Democrat senators and urges them for action. As you can see here, President Biden on Tuesday called out a pair of moderate Democratic senators as he faced emboldened opposition to his key pieces of his agenda. Touting the need to pass legislation on voting rights and the infrastructure package, Biden dismissed criticism over Democrats' inability thus far to move certain bills forward, noting that Republicans remain nearly universally opposed to the pieces of the legislation that are joined by two Democrats the president declined to name, in at least on the voting right bill. President Biden says, quote, "I hear all the folks on TV saying, why doesn't Biden get this done? Well, because Biden only has a majority of effectively 4 votes in the House of Representatives and a tie in the Senate, with 2 members of the Senate who vote more with my Republican friends." The comment appeared to target Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, and Kirsten Sinema, Democratic representative from Arizona, who have been chief opponents of ending the filibuster to ease Democrats' path to passing legislation in the Senate. While both lawmakers do vote more frequently with Democrats than Republicans, Manchin has pressed colleagues in the White House and his Senate colleagues to focus their efforts on strengthening the 1965 Voting Act rather than passing a more expansive bill. Now, they're talking about a voting act here, but the same thing rings true for the infrastructure package right now, that the Democrats are really negotiating not only with Republicans, which is a 50-50 chance the Democrats are going to either pass it on their own through the reconciliation process or pass it with the Republicans. 50-50 chance there. I think it's a 95% chance the next stimulus package, named the American Families Plan, which has about 15 different stimulus items in there, the forced stimulus check, a possible monthly forced stimulus check, an increase to 4 more years or more of the child tax credits, which are monthly stimulus checks that are starting on July 15th, including Social Security raises and Medicare expansion or additional Medicare benefits for no additional cost. 2 years of free college and 2 years of free preschool. There's a lot of different things they're discussing to put in this next stimulus package. I would say there's only a 5% chance that they'll be able to get any Republicans on board with this next stimulus package. And I'm I'm being kind of gracious there with a 5% chance, because I really think there's almost no chance that the Republicans are going to come on board for the next stimulus package. I think it's a 50-50 chance they'll come on board for the infrastructure package. Remember, not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package. And the Democrats passed that on their own, and it was the largest package to date, at least in terms of the money that went out to the people. Former President Trump's first stimulus package was more money in size, 2.2 trillion, as opposed to Biden's 1.9 trillion. But Biden's package had the largest stimulus check yet to date at $1,400 for adults, $1,400 for children, which was more than double we had seen with the $500 to $600 checks for children underneath President Trump, and $1,400 checks for adult dependents and college student dependents who didn't even get checks from the first 2 times around. So if you look at the Democrats, what they're doing is their checks are more, and the child tax credits, which were increased by former President Trump before from 1,000 to 2,000. Again, going with the theme of what Democrats want, more. They increased it to $3,000 for children under the age, or children ages 6 through 17, and under the age of 6, those children will get $3,600, and they're going to start paying those out in monthly payments of $250 to $300 per month, starting on July 15th. But they also want to expand that. It's only passed for 1 year by the Democrats. They want to add 4 more years possibly onto that for in this next stimulus package as one of the items in there. And really, we're really seeing if this negotiations with Republicans even has a chance. if the physical infrastructure plan, the American Jobs Plan, which will help us come out of the recession and create millions of jobs and get money flowing into the economy, get a lot of people hired, all that stuff, bring in infrastructure, which will really help out our country for years to come. If the Republicans can't get a deal done with the Democrats this week, the Democrats have set a deadline for this week, apparently. If they don't get it done, the Democrats are going to pass both these packages through reconciliation and really might just combine them and pass them as one. And all they'll have to do is negotiate among their own Democratic Party. Yes, they'll have to negotiate with Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, both of which voted yes on the third stimulus check package, which again had the largest stimulus checks yet to date. And we have all these Democrats pushing for a fourth stimulus check or even monthly stimulus checks, not just for children. So not just for the child tax credits, which Kirsten Sinema and Democratic Senator Joe Manchin both voted for. They both voted yes for it in the end. But now we have all these Democrats calling for these monthly stimulus checks to continue, but for everybody that qualifies for these stimulus checks. So if you qualify for the third one, they want to do these monthly stimulus checks here, or what they call recurring stimulus checks in this possibly, as you can see right here, there's actually 28 Democratic senators from the Senate, which is over half of the Democrats, that actually have put in writing that they want monthly recurring stimulus checks in the infrastructure package. Now, we also have 80 Democrats from the House of Representatives, and these are really just the Democrats that have put in writing that they want monthly stimulus checks. There's actually a lot more, and when it comes down to it, they all end up voting together or not. So if the majority of Democrats want these monthly recurring stimulus checks, like this bill here from Democratic Representative Jayapal, who is the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, which is over half of the Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives, that is for a $2,000 one-time stimulus check, then followed by $1,000 monthly recurring payments that would go until 1 year after the pandemic is declared over. So at least 12 months of $1,000 stimulus checks followed by this. I mean, this is literally written here by Democratic Representative Jayapal, who is the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus. So if we continue to get enough support from the Democrats, we could see this happen as a form of universal basic income temporarily to get us through the economic recovery of the recession, which is likely going to take years. 2008, 2009 took 4 years. So even if we pass enough stimulus right now, we could maybe cut it in half. That still means a 2-year recovery. Even if the virus was gone, we still have to worry about the economic recovery of this pandemic. And remember, the Democrats already passed monthly stimulus checks with the child tax credits that are going to start on July 15th. So if you think they won't pass monthly stimulus checks, well, they already did in the form of these $250 to $300 checks that are going to start on July 15th. So will they do it for a fourth stimulus check? Well, that really remains to be seen with the negotiations going on with the Democrats and among their own party. President Biden is set to meet today with the Republican leader who is leading the charge for the Republicans on the negotiations on the infrastructure package, which will ultimately lead us to whether or not they pass them both together or they pass them separately, or if the Democrats pass them through the reconciliation process. Here is that Republican leader. Her name is Shelley Ann Capito, the leader of the Republicans on the negotiations with President Biden.
So let me ask you this. Where do we stand with negotiations this morning? I know you've been talking with the president. There's been some public speculation about who's actually calling the shots. Even Senator Mark Warner, Democrat, saying, I've had my calls returned quickly. I'm talking with the legislative team, but even I'm not really sure who's making the decisions. What's your impression and where do things stand this morning?
Well, I think the president's making the decisions. And when we went to the Oval Office, 6 of us, to talk about a bipartisan infrastructure package, the president basically tasked us to come back with something close to $1 trillion in the areas in the scope that we as Republicans feel constitutes infrastructure. Also, we could spread it over an 8-year period of time, and that's exactly what we've done. And we've got a great basis for this because we just passed a surface transportation bill unanimously out of my committee with Senator Carper as the chairman. And so I think we're building those blocks towards a really good, solid infrastructure package that has bipartisan support. So we're responding to what the president has said. He told me on the phone just day before yesterday, let's get this done. And I think that means that his heart is in this. We have had some back and forth with the staff who've sort of pulled back a little bit, but I think we're smoothing out those edges.
So Republican Senator there, Shelley Moore Capito, actually kind of praising President Biden. Seems like their negotiations are going pretty well. That's why I think there's about a 50-50 chance that they could get a bipartisan deal, meaning Republicans and Democrats go along with it on the next infrastructure package. If they don't, then they're going to pass it through reconciliation, which means the Democrats can pass it on their own and thus put anything they want in that infrastructure package, including a possible fourth stimulus check. I mean, over half of the Democrats in the Senate alone are actually urging for monthly recurring stimulus checks to be included in the infrastructure package. I definitely think it's more likely they'll be in the next stimulus package, the American Families Plan. But if they combine the two and pass them together through the reconciliation process, which is an option as well, it really won't make a matter because it'll be one bill combined. So this week is going to be a very big week on what they're calling a make or break week, that if the Republicans don't come to a negotiation or an agreement this week, then the Democrats are going to start passing the next package through the reconciliation process with or without Republicans. So it will be a very big week here to see how they're going to pass these next two packages. So I'll keep you up to date with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. I'll keep you up to date. There's a lot more different stimulus packages or programs that have already passed from the third stimulus check package. Mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, utility assistance, internet broadband assistance, where the government will pay $50 a month for your internet. Yeah, all these different programs, student loan debt forgiveness, the child tax credits, Social Security increases, Medicare increases. We cover it all here on this channel. So make sure to subscribe down below, join our family here. If you ever read through the comments, you'll notice that we have one of the warmest communities on YouTube. We're a big family here. We look out for each other, and I'll be letting you know about all these different programs that have already passed and new ones coming out in the future that could put money in your pocket. Remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss an episode. So you can click this video here to see which checks are going out in June, July, and August, all the different programs sending checks out. And you can click on this video about President Biden's Social Security raise to $16,000. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.